Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, me, Khadijah. How y'all doing out there? Hopefully, your day has gone fine and you have enjoyed your day or evening or night, whatever um, time it is in your neck of the woods. What I wanted to bring to y'all today was something that really disturbed me, and I want to share it with y'all. And I'm sure y'all have encountered something like this. If you haven't participated in something like this yourself, or you know somebody, but this kind of behavior really, really has to be knocked off. Um, and it's the kind of situation that I don't really think people really, really, when they get so involved and heated in their own stuff, I don't really think that they even realize, not all, a lot, just how significant that their children are. The environment that their children are in. A lot of times when they get mad at each other and they're going at each other, they forget that the children are even in the room, and they become so selfish and so in tune to themselves and their argument that they just traumatize everything around them, including their babies. I had a situation like that today that I had to pretty much threaten the couple. And I would say it in a positive way. I just informed them that I was a mandated reporter and that what they were doing now were really traumatizing the children. And I was very afraid for not only them, but for the children. And that they were in a situation where people were writing down their license plate. So that was the only thing that got their attention. I didn't even know if it was true, but I just said it. Because they couldn't have been, the couple couldn't have been, no, it could have been more than 30. And they had two small children in the car, maybe three in the other, maybe two, it was small, and maybe five. Because one of them didn't look like he could even walk too well. But whatever they were fighting about, they were cursing each other out. They were in the street. The children were crying. It looks like something they do all the time. She was calling him all kinds of MFs and saying she was tired of him cheating and yada yada. All this crazy stuff going on in the streets. And the children are watching, crying, being traumatized. So if they could be so bold as to do that outside, I could just imagine what goes on in their house. And at that time, I felt so bad for the children. You know. And that's why I decided to make this video, because I think it's really important that we understand that those of us who have a high tolerance for pain or a high tolerance for drama and trauma, that's not good. And that's what you create. People that have a high tolerance for pain and trauma and drama, when they bear witness to this stuff all the time, whether it's through the television set and their parents fighting all the time, their parents getting drunk all the time, cursing each other out, having friends over, smoking and drinking. Trust me, I mean, I know. And I'm not saying this to lay judgment on anybody. I'm saying that these are the kind of things that you can't not do in front of your children. And the only judgment that really is going to take place is you sitting in court. Because what's happening is you are really destroying your children's lives without even knowing it. You are setting a grid in their tolerance for pain and anger and madness You giving them that blueprint and sending them out into the world and telling them to cohabit, to telling them to coexist with people. And more than likely, they're not going to know who they are because they spend so much time trying to escape your wrath and to hide from your destructive patterns that they're going to have a hard time figuring out who they really are, only because of the way you raised them. And so when I saw that today, it really hurt me because, it's abuse. And no one wins in abuse. I saw a story today, and I know this lady was straight narcissist, where she had a 12-year-old locked into the bathroom with feces and all kinds of stuff in there, in the bathroom with him. He hadn't been out of the room in 2 years. He had two other siblings who were fine, who were well fed, taken care of. And this boy was 12 years old and he only weighed 30 pounds. The police and the authorities in that town said they've never seen a person so emaciated in their life and still alive. So it's going to probably take this kid a year to come through. But can you imagine the long road that he has? We're not even talking about the psychological damage. And the result of those babies being treated like that is all these fools that we see out in the streets right now. And I hate to use the word, but that's just, there's no other way to describe it. Because we're responsible for all the pain. And we cannot we setting the whole nation's vibration. It's just set on anger. It's set on trauma. And it's set on anger. So the least we can do is in our individual family, stop traumatizing our own children. So if you know somebody that's traumatizing their child, that's getting drunk in front of their child, that's cursing in front of their child, having sex in front of their child, all these things that they think is normal is really crazy and abusive. And they have to knock it off and they have to be stopped. This is not anything that we can remain silent on any longer. Because it's hurting this family. And it's hurting the children. First and foremost. They can't be the best they can be. Brought up under a crazy dictatorship where nobody has respect for their very presence. Where they crave to be seen and nobody sees them, just their own self and their own needs. We got to do better. So, with that being said, I had to get it off my chest. Again, more room out than in. Hug your babies tonight. Tell them that you love them. It's easier to love a baby than to fix a broken adult. Alright? That was by Frederick Douglass, by the way. So if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. And I'm going to be back later in the mental house. Thank you. Bye-bye.